I'll tell you somebody who doesn't back down who maybe we should consider. AOC.
This is not an elitist issue. This is a quality of life issue. You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the kids in the South Bronx, which are suffering from the highest rates of childhood asthma in the country. Tell that to the families in Flint, whose kids have their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist.
Yeah, call them elitist. You know what? She's young. She's smart. She certainly has the mero mero. Talk about somebody who doesn't back down. But does she fight for Latinas and Latinos? Does she really fight for Latinas and Latinos? I mean, is that her, her norte? No, not as far as we can tell. I mean, if you're trans, if you're gay, if you're poor, if you're abused by the system, if you're African American, if you're taking on corrupt or abusive police departments, she's there for you. If you're a Muslim activist trying to be heard on the question of injustice, she's going to be there for you. And you know what? That's admirable. I say good for her. She's always fighting for the little guy. She's always fighting for the little guy and the little gal. And that's God's work. But does she understand Latinas and Latinos? Are we her norte, her north? She really understands us. Does she have any time left after saving the world to represent Latinos specifically? To be honest with you, and to be fair to her, I'm not sure she wants that gig. I'm not sure she wants that gig, which is cool. By the way, that gig is not easy. This is not an easy gig.
We have to look at it differently. There are people that are doing some amazing things. I mean, I know Eddie Olmos for years. He's the godfather to my children. I've seen him do amazing things. I've seen Danny Trejo. I had him on my show. He spoke to a group of, I literally drove with him to the show, and he was counseling someone who was having a drug problem. After the show, I was with him. He was counseling someone who had a drug problem. I've seen this man be a saint and be a counselor. So a lot of us are there and are trying their best. The standardized kind of Latino world. There's also Gary Acosta. He's from NARA, which is the real estate
Saul Trujillo.
People. Saul Trujillo. Look at these. I'm seeing people like I see what Gary Acosta is doing, because he's thinking about what's the financial future of Latinos.
Yeah, there are partners.
I see people.
Those are you just named my two partners in this project. The three of us are the ones who are putting this whole Agua Media thing together, because we're convinced that essentially, if we depend on the general media to tell our stories, it's just never going to be told. So we've decided to do this because we're going to tell it ourselves.
And I'm really glad, because I support Gary Acosta. I've worked with him before. I see people like that are quietly moving the needle, and are trying their best. You cannot, in terms of Latinos affecting Hollywood and what their media portrayal is, it's only till you are in charge of your image do you really are in a position to say anything. And that's, with Aqua Media and what you guys are doing, it does help that, because it's an alternative voice. I definitely don't trust Fox News. Everyone knows that. But at times I look at CNN and I go, you're not doing us any good either. Yeah. I'd rather to say to you, you are falling behind. Look at the representation of Latinos just in the Writers Guild of America. It's pretty horrible. Our latest thing said we are treading water at least. That's about it.
That's a really great conversation we just had with Rick. And this is important, these conversations, because these are Latino realities, and we're going to be the only ones doing that right here on Agua Media. This is Rick Sanchez News. You could look for us as a podcast by just clicking right down there where it says watch more, and we'll take you to a place where you could choose where you want to watch it. Maybe you want to choose Spotify, maybe you want to choose Apple, or maybe wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, then please, por favor, we need you. Subscribe. Dale.
Agua.